Looking out my window, sun shining bright.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Sideliner channel. It's your host Reese. Day 3 of the NBA playoffs is finally wrapped, and we got a lot to discuss in this one. Maybe not a lot to discuss, but definitely want to touch on some BS that happened in last night's game. But of course, always going to kick it off with the first game of the night: Philly versus Brooklyn. A much more interesting and competitive game in this one. Brooklyn had the lead for majority of this game up until the second half, when Joel Embiid finally decided to wake up and score some buckets. Yeah, the double teams was pretty tough, but he just wasn't looking to score in that first half. Was giving the ball up a lot and was making it look like he wasn't a front runner for MVP this year. Early on in the game for Philly, Tobias Harris was being very aggressive, just like he was in the first game. He finished the game off with 20 points, 12 rebounds. A very decent game for him. A critical role that he's playing for Philly. Definitely looking like the third option at this point since James Harden. As we know, throughout the season, his scoring has been up and down. Yeah, he had a decent first game, but in this game, he only was able to get 8 points. He really struggled shooting the ball. Thankfully, Tyrese Maxey showed up, dropped 33 points. Joel Embiid, like I said, finally decided to wake up in that fourth quarter. Finished the game off with a 20-20 game, so a near 20-20 game. He had 20 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. Definitely an MVP caliber game. If you look away from the first half, when he wasn't really being aggressive at all. He had just 6 first quarter points, but he had 9 rebounds and 3 assists in that first quarter. He ended the first half with 15 rebounds, so he was definitely effective out there on the court. But when it just came to scoring, the double teams were just causing him a lot of problems. He didn't end up scoring his second basket of the game until the third quarter, and he was just so boxed up defensively. He finally figured it out down that stretch in the fourth quarter and was able to pull that. Rally Philly together and alongside Tyrese Maxey, and helped them win that game. Oh, y'all see, y'all know what I'm saying. In that first half, Philly definitely struggled to shoot it from deep after their stellar first game shooting. Tyrese Maxey was a bright spot for them. 18 points, 6 of 12 from downtown. 10 first half turnovers. It didn't hurt them that much in the end, but 10 turnovers in the first half, that's way too many. They need to clean up that ball movement. It was a little sloppy out there. Like I said, the double teams was causing Joel a lot of problems. I give credit to Brooklyn for that defense, Jock Vaughn for that game plan, just throwing different looks at Joel and making it tough for him to really get going. As I said, Harden struggled from the field in this game. Early on, he was 1 of 6, but he found other ways to be effective, just like Westbrook did last night or the other night. And Chris Paul, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals alongside of his 8 points. That's not a James Harden game that we're accustomed to seeing, where the 15 to 20 point and 10 to 12 assist games is what we're accustomed for seeing. But they got a great game out of Tyrese Maxey. Tobias Harris, like I said, is stepping up. Joel figured it out down the stretch. So that really, the Philadelphia 76ers team as a whole really won them this game. It wasn't really just one player. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey led them heavily on the scoring end, and I do tip my hat to him. Always gonna tip my hat to a Tyrese, but you know what I'm saying? It's a very, very good team effort in this win. At one point, Tyrese Maxey had 23 points and no other stats, just straight buckets. Like a very, very good game for Tyrese Maxey scoring the ball. B-Ball Paul got out there and provided some great energy. He had 6 points, 3 rebounds in the block in just 7 minutes of play time. And then to start the second half, Philly was on a 20-5 run, and what that ultimately is what led them to that stretch to finish off the game. Now, starting the game off for Brooklyn, Cam Johnson was ripping the Nets. Along with Dorian Finney-Smith, they combined for 18 of the Nets' 25 first initial points. Cam was carrying the load offensively, 22 points on 9 of 13 from the field, 57% from deep. Majority of his shots were contested or just tough shots to hit in general. Not to mention, the man looked Joel Embiid in his eyes and posterized him. An absolute dominant game for Cam Johnson. Yeah, it's just 22 points, but for Cam Johnson, a guy that's just supposed to be a catch and shoot guy in the corner, he did much more. He showed much more in this game. Of course, Mikal Bridges It was a slow start for Mikal, and that's why Cam had to do what he did early on. But Mikal eventually picked it up, finished the game off with 20-plus points. In the first half, he finished with 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. So he was doing everything on the court as well. And you know he's going to play his defense, guarding the best players on the perimeter, and James Harden or Tyrese Maxey. And he was being effective in other ways other than scoring. That's what he does on a nightly basis, and that's what we expect from Mikal Bridges. Unfortunately, his scoring wasn't there for him early on, and that made it harder for Brooklyn to actually maintain a lead because their best guy in Mikal Bridges wasn't able to get it going or keep it going. Not to mention, they came out absolutely flat in the third quarter, just 14 points scored. The ball stopped finding Cam Johnson for way too long. Like I said, 22 points in the game. He had 22 points in the first half and just 4 points in the second half. The ball definitely should have been finding Cam Johnson way more. I don't know how you don't give him the ball when he had such a great first half. Obviously, Mikal needed to get his shots as well to, help, but Cam should have been getting that ball, bro. He could have ended up with a 35, 40-point game, depending on the way that things went. And they only lost this game by 12. So, had things been a little different, they could have stole this game, which was, in my mind, was where this game was heading. Second game of the night, last game of the night, obviously. Sacramento versus Golden State, man. Like I said earlier on, BS happened in this game, but we're gonna get to the good. We're gonna touch on the good stuff first, and then get to that little situation. It wasn't little at all. We're gonna get to that situation. I'm gonna talk my shit. So to start the game, the Sacramento Kings all over the place. Got 2 steals within the first minutes. High energy from the jump. High energy. That's exactly what they needed. That's what they need to continue to do to keep the pressure on the Golden State Warriors. The defending champs are down 2-0 right now to a Sacramento Kings team that nobody thought would be in this position. They did have a little sloppy ball movement early on, and the turnovers ultimately kept them from growing their lead much larger and possibly blowing this game out of the water early on. Golden State they didn't have really any offensive rhythm early on, and Sacramento was just applying so much pressure that had they been converting on offense and not turning the ball over as much, their lead could have ballooned up into something. I took a 15, 20-point game to where Golden State would have really had to fight back. Not just the turnovers were preventing them from stretching their lead. They were 0 for 10 in the first 9 minutes of the game from 3. That's not ideal when you're going against a team in Golden State Warriors. Thankfully, they also weren't, like I said, they didn't have very much offensive rhythm early on. So the game was still, very close. I think Golden State went up by 5 or 7 points at one point in the first quarter. But once that second quarter came around, the Sacramento Kings definitely started playing like normal. The shots started falling. Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk started getting his shots to fall. 3 straight threes to start the quarter on an 11-2 run. Golden State needed to call that timeout. Malik Monk, man, keep going, bro. Keep going. Kentucky boy, man. Kentucky boys. Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox. Also, there were too many times on a dribble handoff where Sabonis would have 2-3 feet of separation from his defender, and he's not even looking to shoot the ball. Regardless of he needs to work on his 3-point game over the summer. Obviously, the season is still going, and they still, they're the Sacramento Kings. They have other shooters, but just imagine how lethal they can become if Sabonis works on that 3-point shot. On that dribble handoff, fake it. His defender is still got a couple feet, and he's just letting it go. In game 1, Sabonis finished with only 12 points on his worst shooting night of the season. He had 12 points in the first half of this game, and ultimately matched that 12 points to end up with 24 to finish off the game. The bench was very, very critical for the Sacramento Kings in this game, especially in that first half. 24 bench points versus Golden State's 10. A guy in Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell coming in and getting his as well. These guys are very instrumental, key pieces to the Sacramento Kings' success in this playoff run. Coming out in that third quarter, they're still causing chaos and creating turnovers. Kevin Huerter and Domantas Sabonis early on held it down for them offensively, being aggressive, hitting their shots. They were on a 10-0 run at one point in the quarter. Then going into the fourth, in the first 30 seconds, Kevin Huerter picks up 2 fouls, which gives him his 5th foul, and he sits for the rest of the game. Thankfully, a guy in Davion Mitchell stepped up in this game. 14 points for Davion Mitchell, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals on 50% shooting from the field. That's exactly what the Sacramento Kings needed. 18 points from Malik Monk off the bench. Trey Lyles, he didn't hit his shots, but he grabbed 4 rebounds and was just a big body out there against the Golden State Warriors tonight. Keegan Murray, he's definitely struggling. You can see the shots just aren't falling for him, and he's just not, honestly, he's not really getting many shots. He took 1 shot in this game, so he's just there at this point. We know what Keegan Murray is capable of. Hit the most threes of any rookie in an NBA season, so we know what Keegan Murray can do. It might just be jitters, first playoff of his NBA career he's a rookie. So, Keegan Murray, once they progress into the second round of the playoffs, because I do see them beating this Golden State Warriors team, Keegan Murray, we can see him, get a little bit more confident and start getting those shots. De'Aaron Fox closed this game out like he had done all year. Getting to the rim, hitting floaters, mid-range jumpers, 3-point shots, a clutch 3-point shot down the stretch, a few assists to HB, hustle plays, the rightful winner of the Jerry West Clutch Player of the Year award by far. And I absolutely love how poised and relaxed the Kings looked in that final 3 minutes of the game. They looked like they had been here. They looked like the Golden State Warriors. Like, that's how much poise they had. Like, they're the 4-time champions. Going against a first time in 17 years playoff team. This by far the most fun team to watch in the league, no question. For Golden State, just very, very sloppy ball movement early on. 6 turnovers in the first quarter, 13 total in the first half. Steph tweaked his ankle early on, but didn't come out the game. Hopefully, we don't hear anything about him being out and having to miss games due to that, because he didn't come out after that for about 5 minutes. In that first half, they were really applying the pressure on De'Aaron Fox, causing him to pick up the ball on 3 straight possessions, really making it tough for him. He didn't have a good first half, scoring the ball, at least because of the defensive pressure that the Golden State Warriors were applying to him on the perimeter. They scored off of nearly all 9 Kings first quarter turnovers. Like I said, the Kings turnovers prevented them from blowing up their lead, and if Golden State was converting off of the turnovers, which made it hard for them to even maintain that lead early on. But in absolutely every aspect of the word, outplayed. That's what happened to the Golden State Warriors in that second quarter, excuse me. At least in the first 5 minutes, they only scored 8 points. The Sacramento Kings had 23 points at one. It was 8-23 at one point in the second quarter. Let's just put it that way. Numerous turnovers. They couldn't get the Kings to miss a shot. They bounced back after a much-needed timeout and got back into the flow of things, which kept them afloat in this game. If not for that timeout, who knows what that run could have been. Then moving into the second half, 5 fouls in the first minute and a half put the Kings in the bonus and set them up throughout that entire quarter to just attack and get to the line, and that's exactly what they did. Absolutely atrocious play on defense for the Golden State Warriors in this game. A lot of lapses. Like I said, they didn't really have an offensive rhythm throughout this game, and they were still somehow in the game. A lot of turnovers for both sides. I think the Warriors ended up with 21, 22. Sacramento about 15 turnovers. So that's really where the game stayed close, was because neither team could really maintain a possession. Like every few possessions, it's a turnover. So this Golden State core, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, they have won at least one road game in 27 playoff series. That's impressive as hell, but it's not looking good for them in this series. They should have won game 1. They could have won game 2, but the Sacramento Kings is holding their own. 2-0 lead on the defending champs, and they do have another chance to steal a game. Actually, 2 more chances to steal a game. You got 2 more games in Sacramento, but they have to win their games at home. And the way that it's looking, if Draymond Green gets suspended from what we're going to talk about in a minute, it's not looking good for them. This is the worst road team to make the playoffs. 5th or 6th in the entire league in road win percentage. Absolutely atrocious for a defending champion team with repeat aspirations. It was not a good season for Golden State on the road. Jordan Poole is just absolutely non-existent. I don't even realize that he's in the game half the time. Thankfully for them, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson are being who they are, and the Warriors are able to maintain some kind of offensive flow at times in the game, but just Jordan Poole is just not there. He made 1 or 2 baskets the entire night. Klay Thompson down the stretch, his big shots kept the Warriors in the game. But Stephen Curry was absolutely boxed up in the fourth, he missed over half his shots. I think he only made 2 shots in the fourth quarter, and he took quite a bit. So kudos to the Sacramento Kings on their defense and just sticking together after Draymond Green did what he did to Sabonis and pulling through for their guy to win this game. Sabonis is tough as hell for staying in the game after that. That was some bullshit. That was some bullshit. I lost literally every amount of respect that I had for Draymond Green as a basketball mind. He's a great basketball mind, bro. But as a player and damn near as a person, bro, I lost all my respect, bro. That's some bullshit, bro. Like, you start the season off knocking out your teammate, and then you about to end your season by stomping on an opponent, bro. Like, that's some bogus shit, bro. And I don't fuck with that. He stomped him like he was a cockroach. I'm not trying to make light of the situation, bro, but like, he literally stomped Sabonis like he was a bug. That's some dirty shit, bro. It was a disgusting act of character, and it really shows that he's the dirtiest player in the league by far. By far, it's not even close. Like, imagine had he punctured a lung, bro. Now we talking legal action. Because that's not, no way in hell. That's not, 1, that's not basketball, and 2, no way in hell he didn't feel that man under his foot. Granted, he grabbed his ankle, so what? But bro, you could have just snatched your foot. You could have just snatched your foot away. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just pulled your foot away. He deliberately his foot was free, and he stepped and stomped on that man's chest, bro. Damn near broke his rib. Thankfully for Sabonis, the X-rays came back negative this morning, and he can continue to play, but it might affect him throughout the rest of the series, especially as we saw him trying to take a charge on Stephen Curry late in that fourth quarter. He was wincing once he got hit. You know, get well soon, Sabonis. Obviously, it's not as bad as we thought it once was, but, you know, that's some BS, Draymond. You know, I'm not going to berate you. Everybody does that already, but you know what you did, bro. Yes, he grabbed your leg, bro, but nah. Anyways, of course, your boy gotta get ready for work, so I'll catch y'all tomorrow with the next video. We also got some 2K content dropping soon, so stick around and tune into the channel. We gonna be locked in. I know y'all see it, bro. The reach is, I might get some merch going soon, bro. Just, you know, stick with your boy, bro. But I appreciate y'all tuning into the video. Go ahead, drop a subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button, comment on the video so we can have some, you know, banter. And I'll see you on the next one.